It's the Shag Bag Show with the guys from the shop next door. Got to stop by. We got Vic the Sandbagger from the Golf Mart Superstore. Ruth Shapiro joined us from Coastal Kids Home Care. Welcome.
Good morning.
Actually, welcome back.
Yes. Right.
Because once in 20 years, we have a little snafu, a power snafu, and we had one. And that was, I don't know how long ago, a month ago or whatever it was. And we couldn't get you on. So now you're back and you are on. We're actually on. We just went off. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm really happy to be back, and I think it was neat that I was part of that one special show.
Right?
That did not happen.
That's right. That's right. So it's like that AT&T jacket I have from 1996 that I wear only during the AT&T, so that was 26 years ago. And people ask me about it, and I say, yeah, and don't forget, 1996 was the only year there was not a winner, because it got rained out.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, Ruth Shapiro, tell us, first of all, tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from?
So I come from Coastal Kids Home Care.
No, where are you from?
Oh, where am I from personally? I grew up in Palo Alto.
Okay.
But I've actually been here for almost 20 years. Maybe I like to call this more my chosen home. And I now consider myself a local, even though I did not grow up here.
20 years, that would do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Coastal Kids Home Care, tell us about that. What is that? What does that mean?
Coastal Kids is a pediatric home care agency, and a lot of people would recognize a home care agency more from those that would serve our parents or elders. This might be something that if your parent comes out of a hospital and needs a little bit of physical therapy or some wound care, a home care agency can send a nurse and a social worker, sometimes a physical therapist, to help that person recover at home instead of having to go to a hospital or a clinic. And we do that for pediatrics. We're the only fully pediatric home care agency in Northern California. So we like to think we are leveling the playing field and offering children the same great services that adults often get.
I think it's pretty amazing program.
In this program, I'm the director of palliative care and bereavement. And so as my role as the bereavement specialist on the team, we were working with a lot of agencies during the pandemic beginning in 2020 because we consider ourselves on the front line of grief and bereavement, and we're getting a lot of phone calls from the community asking if our bereavement specialists could serve the plethora of people who had losses in the last 2 years. As much as we wanted to, our agency could not meet the need of the entire community. There's a really wonderful philanthropic group called Hospice Giving Foundation who also noticed that this was happening. I believe this was the brainchild of their executive director, Siobhan Green, who in 2020 did a large assessment of the community as to what do we need to help the community during this really traumatic time. And what she was told is that we need more bereavement services. The other thing that I personally noticed is working with, a variety of different cultures, there is some can figure out how to get a whole lot more bereavement services out into the world. We really answered that call. It was partly because of our own feelings of helplessness when we would get all those calls.
Right.
We saw this as a way to address that beyond what was our own means, and we were awarded the grant this year, actually just at the end of last year. The idea with this grant is not that we personally would provide all the bereavement services, but rather that we would collaborate and coordinate with therapists who are already doing counseling of some sort, agencies that already work with families and come in contact with people who are grieving through their already existing services, that we would coordinate but also educate these groups and these therapists such that they would feel comfortable serving people in grief and bereavement. In my, I want to say around 22 years of experience with hospice and palliative care, I have found that bereavement counseling is quite a specialty. I know very competent therapists who will serve people who have conditions that I might feel a little uncomfortable serving, but they themselves feel a little bit uncomfortable serving those who are grieving. And so there's really three things we're focusing on with this program. The program is called Heal Together. I like to call it a movement because we are really trying to have the community come on board with this, this philosophy that we're putting out into Monterey County. Coastal Kids actually serves 4 counties. This grant is specifically to serve those of us here in Monterey County. So the three things we're focusing on, it starts with services. We already know how to coordinate and facilitate more therapy. We know how to work with therapists. We know how to get more grief groups out there. But we also wanted to get services out there for people who wanted something different than that, who don't connect with one-on-one counseling to help get through a hard time. So we're making a big focus on expressive therapies. For example, we work with parents who lose a child. We can now, after that child has died, offer them a personal massage, a grief massage that allows that energy and other things to move through our body in that more alternative way rather than sitting and talking to a therapist. We also can offer them a private yoga instructor to come and help show them how that can help move through their grief. We have music therapists.
And this is in-home service.
This is in-home, but we also have, again, we're sort of trying to meet everyone where they are.
Right.
So some of these can be in-home. Some of these, if you are already working with one of these agencies where we are connecting, can be at that same agency where you're getting a different service. Additionally, when we say people who are grieving, I want that to 100% include all of our first responders, nurses, firefighters, doctors, everyone who's police officers who've been on really the front line of this pandemic. And so we will bring a Zumba class to the fire station. We can bring a cooking class to a private home where a family is trying to reconnect with one another after a primary person has died. So we're really trying to meet people where they are, not just with services, but literally where they are. We'll be bringing some of these services. We already have some yoga set up for the nursing staff at SVMH, and we're reaching out to all of these agencies. So if you are someone who is a frontline worker and are wondering how to access this, let me tell you right now, call us. We will probably be reaching out to you, but call us. The Heal Together phone number is 831-320-0947. You will speak to a bilingual intake specialist, talk to us about what is going on, what you are looking for, and we will match you with that. And we will also tell you what is free for you in the community that you didn't necessarily think of. So, that's one part of it. We want to get all these services out. The other part is education and training. We want to meet, the therapists and the service professionals where they are as well. So we have coordinated, really thanks to the funding from Hospice Giving Foundation with one of the premier world-renowned grief groups that do curriculum to train therapists and school counselors and other people to come here to Salinas and do a comprehensive 3-day training. If you are a therapist who would like to join this movement, this is available to you for free. And you would call the same number, 831-320-0947, to talk to us about how to get connected with that. We also are putting out a lot of education into the community. I briefly mentioned that there's some stigma about it. I think it's sometimes because we confuse grief with a mental health condition. They are not the same. They are not the same. We are a perfectly healthy person if we are struggling after someone dies. Versus those of us who have an actual mental health condition, something like depression or anxiety. Now, we know that grief has symptoms of both of those mental health conditions, and that's why it can be confusing. But we do want to help the community understand that there is a difference. This is a normal human thing that we're all going to go through, and that we can really help you, and we want to help you feel better. And that even though it feels like nothing might help you feel better, I know that that's not true. I know that if you connect with us, that at the very least, you will feel different as you move through your grief. So that's kind of the second thing. We want to have people just understand better what is grief. And the third part is outreach. So some of our cultural communities have really been left out of a lot of supportive services due to a language barrier or other barriers that have to do with location, the kind of work schedule, that some people have to have. And so outreach is really one of our main foci, because South County also had some of the largest percentage of loss during the pandemic. So we're working with the community groups that are already in these communities, who already are trusted by the members of the communities, to help us spread the word that these services are out there and free for you. They are in Spanish. The majority of our therapists and our bereavement specialists are bilingual.
Amazing programs, amazing services, amazing things that you guys do. That's so needed.
Well, we're hoping that it can make even a small dent in some of the trauma we've all been feeling over the last years, and maybe help connect us as a community even better.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's the phone number again?
831-320-0947. Also, I'll give you our website where you can find out about a lot of these expressive therapies and kind of think about something that might work for you. And that is heal-together.org.
Perfect. And if there's a way, if someone would like to contribute and donate to the services, they can do that there too?
Thank you for bringing that up. I often forget to mention something like that. This program has been funded for 2 years, so we are actively looking for ways to extend that well beyond 2 years. If you'd like to donate, go to the Heal Together website. There will be a very easy way for you to do that. You can also call Coastal Kids Home Care or look on our coastalkidshomecare.org website. Either, all of those ways will help us out quite a bit.
Awesome. Ruth Shapiro from Coastal Kids Home Care. Wonderful work, and thanks very much for all that great information, useful information. Continue the good fight, and God bless you. Thank you.
Great to hear about it.
Appreciate you very much. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. All right.
It's the Shag.